Hi everyone. As we film this video, it's the beginning of December 2019. The snow outside is beginning to fall here in London, Ontario, and we're getting into the Christmas spirit. Even though the Christmas celebration is so familiar to us here in Canada, it's striking to remember that there are yet many people who have never heard about Jesus laying in the manger. According to joshuaproject.net, there are still more than 7,000 unreached people groups around the world who have little or no access to the gospel. Because of this reality and Jesus' instructions to make disciples among all the nations, Send Canada has been hard at work this year pursuing our mission. We seek to serve the Canadian Church by helping to mobilize God's people, engage the unreached, and help establish reproducing churches. And by God's grace, I'm delighted to report to you good progress this year. Here in Canada, for example, our mobilization team is engaged day in and day out with individuals and churches across the country as they prayerfully consider God's call to serve. They're involved at conferences, on campuses, and right in churches to help people prayerfully think through what God may be asking them to do as they participate in global missions. We're also seeking to promote and produce practical resources that are helpful to the church. This year saw the launch of the second edition of the Go Journal, which is used by short-term teams before they go to the field, on field, and especially after their experience to help process and reflect on what God is teaching them through that experience. And the Global Missions podcast continues every 2 weeks to promote a 30-minute episode engaging some topic on global missions. Finally, here in the home office, our donor services team is helping to serve many donors across the country. This year, over 1,700 different donors gave towards God's work through Send, and we thank you for that. There were over 250 of you who gave for the first time this year, and we're delighted to welcome you to the Send Canada family. Overseas, though, is where we're really excited to see God at work. Let me just cite a couple of examples to you. From BC, Doug and Lynn are engaged in Southeast Asia. They're engaging 2 unreached people groups there through micro-business, English classes, and community transformation projects, and we are delighted to see good fruit, lasting fruit among the peoples there. Caitlin is one of our single gals from Western Canada, now serving in Europe, and she's serving at a refuge home for women who are coming out of prostitution. She has the opportunity to walk alongside these women at this very important junction in their lives when they need God's love evident to them in very practical ways. Sherry and Josie's one of our 1-year interns here from southwestern Ontario. They're serving in Macedonia. Among the church plants there are now 4 fellowships in a major city. They're all at different stages of maturity who are making disciples and encouraging those people in turn to make more disciples. Last one of our workers, Mark, who was short-term, recently returned from the Middle East. The team that was there used creative arts to engage one of the largest unreached people groups in the world. They used painting, they used music and other ways of sharing their testimony, and in response, over 600 people heard the gospel, and 50 of those people in turn asked for a follow-up meeting so that they could learn more about Jesus. These workers are on the front lines directly engaging the unreached with the good news of the gospel. Of course, none of this would be possible without the generosity of God's people. Many of you have shared in this already, and we want to say thank you. As we come to the end of 2019, I want to ask you to prayerfully make a donation to Send Canada. We would love to continue to build momentum on these and other ministry engagements around the world. We can do this with your help. So this Christmas, Kathleen and I, on behalf of our entire team, wish you and your loved ones a very special Christmas season as we celebrate that God is with us.